Hello, back with another video here. This is a cool knife. This is a Gavko custom Warnie Nurse in a really cool kind of purple blurple color, which is one of my favorites for a knife. I don't know why. In most instances or cases, I don't like purple or, well, blurple's okay, but purple, pinks, blurple, in most other aspects of just material items, I don't like it. But when it comes to a knife, I think it's really cool. So I have a fair amount of knives in that color palette. But this one's really neat. It's a custom knife done by Gavko here, I believe January 2025. And I picked it up pretty recently to check it out. And I think it's, for its size, I think it's one of my favorite knives that I've handled. Just the, all the attention to detail. You've got this, I don't know what you'd call this, stippling, not stippling, but this pattern here on the side of the grips, under the blade here in the choil, and then on top as well. And leaves for a really nice grip. And just the aesthetic overall is just really nice. It gives it a nice grip and a nice aesthetic. The finish itself has this anodization on it. The camera doesn't pick it up, but in the right light, it kind of sparkles. It's really neat. The blade itself is Nitro V. It's just over the cutting length here is just over 2.5 inches, but about 3 inches all the way to the back. And then the overall length of this thing is 7.1, 7.2 inches, just right in there. So pretty small knife, but this forward choil here leaves it to where you can really grip up on it. And yeah, if you guys don't know about Gavko, he's been doing this quite a long time. Gosh, I don't know, maybe, well, I don't even know. He's just been doing it a long time. He makes a new knife every few days, I feel like, if you follow his Instagram, but maybe every 3 or 4 days, he's got a custom that he's finished and that he's got ready for sale. So if you follow his Instagram, he oftentimes posts knives for sale there. Typically, he posts knives with Damascus scales, and they range from about $1,200 to $1,400. This just being TI scales here came in right around $800 as a table price. And for me, I think the value's there. I like the methods of deployment. So reverse flick works fine. Thumb flick works fine. And then you can also, roll the knife out. I'm trying to do this on camera, which makes it a little difficult, but you can roll it out easily as well. And those are the three things I look for to see if a knife has nice deployment, is how well it rolls out, reverse flicks, and thumb flicks. And then I also look for, any sort of lock bar issues to where, it can get to the point where the pressure from the lock bar pressure makes it to where you can't roll it out. And this knife's pretty well protected from that because of the pocket clip. It comes so far down, so like your fingers actually rest on it and put the pressure on the pocket clip itself instead of the lock bar, which is really nice. Giving it to where, because I suspect, just looking at this, I suspect that you might run into some issues. That being said, if you look at this cutout here, it's pretty high, meaning if it was down lower, like here, not that you'd do that, it just leaves more room for error as far as finger placement for that lock bar pressure issue. I'll leave the knife on this side, but as you can see here, this is neat with the purple clip, blurple scales, and then more of a pink, purple, blurple pivot here. It's kind of hard. I mean, I want to say it's just pink, but I don't know. I guess it could be blurple. And then the backspacer here. And then inside here, it's really neat because it's just more of a blue. More of a blue than anything, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, this is just a really clean knife. He's got this unique style. It's unique to him with the window cut out like this. And it's really nice because you can get your finger anywhere, and get the purchase on it for a flick. Whereas I'm sure you're familiar with just some knives where it's either just the spidey hole or there could be a window, but the window's smaller. Your finger placement has to be pretty perfect in order to get it to flick out perfectly every time. With this knife, there's a lot of room for that error to where it can your purchase can be pretty much anywhere, and you'll be successful with either the rollout, the reverse flick, or the thumb flick. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get up and grab a couple knives that I think you guys would want to see for size comparison. So just one sec. All right, just bringing a couple in here. I think the easiest knives to show you would be ones that most people probably looking at this video are familiar with. So that's the wrong one. Here's a Sebenza 21. Pull this in the frame. So yeah, quite a bit smaller. Then here is a Strider PT. So the little guy from Strider. So, the grip, I guess this one is bigger, but the two in hand are actually quite similar, especially with this Ford choil. So this, and then the Strider, in my opinion, with the Ford choil there, are very similar. You can see a little bit sticking out the end there. And a little bit sticking out the end there for this one. So pretty similar. And of course your Sebenza 21 feels great in the hand and a bigger knife overall. Let's see what else. I don't know. I feel like many people are familiar with this guy. This is a McNeese 3.2, which has this custom. I'll do a review thing on this one at some point here soon. But anyway, this is got a custom purple blurple finish to it. But let's see here. So the McNeese, a much thicker grip, but lengthwise, they're really similar. And then obviously the blade on the McNeese is larger. This one here is 3 inches thereabouts, or just over 3 from the blade, the end of the choil, the tang here, all the way to the tip. And then the 3.2 up there gives you a size comparison. So grips being somewhat similar. This in the hand feels fuller, but because there's no Ford choil, I actually have, let's see here, I have a little bit more knife actually coming out the back of the Gavko. even though it's a little bit smaller. I'll put this one away. So yeah, and then when it comes to the action on it, it's smooth. It's on bearings, and you can kind of feel and hear them. You won't be able to hear it on camera or anything like that, but it's smooth, but you kind of feel it. But man, it just flicks out so nice. Rolls out nice. Thumb flick nice. Everything nice. Yeah, I would say if you guys are interested in a custom knife, Gavko is one to look at. The cool thing with Gavko is they're not necessarily hard to get. They're just expensive. But if you pay attention to social media, specifically his Instagram, they come up often enough. As a side note, for how often they do come up, or how often he is making them, you really don't see a ton of them on the secondary market, which goes to show you or tell you that he's making a solid knife. A lot of people, once they buy them, they keep them. So it's a really good product. And yeah, I think it's something you guys would want to check out. Thank you.